Well, once again, a very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to IELTS program. Today, I would like to start the first session, which is on vocabulary. And we all know vocabulary is quintessential to make you score phenomenal bands in IELTS. So if you want definitely an augmented score, well, do emphasize and accentuate so much on high frequency words, which will just definitely give you a great edge. And truly, you can clear your exam with exponential scores and rise in life by leaps and bounds. With the same exuberance and hope, I would like to start the first word of the evening, and the word is alacrity, which means cheerfulness and eagerness. For instance, whenever you join any new organization, you should always show immense alacrity with which you can definitely accomplish all the given tasks in time and do wonders in your life and career. Be it in sports, be it in any field or job, you need to show immense alacrity. Number two, we have this crass, which means insensitive or hard-hearted. For instance, we have seen various politicians in our country who behave in a quite a crass manner. So we can simply say how crass it is on their part to be so ruthless to animals and to the people around. Now, the next we have this gumption. The meaning of gumption is a diminutive initiative. For instance, we have seen it is very paramount on the part of every person to show the gumption to take up every job with pride and dignity in the world. Now the next is chauvinism or chauvinistic, which means blind patriotism. We have seen in a country like India, whether it is also known as a multi-religious society, but what is sometimes severe to see is sometimes the people who become so chauvinistic or chauvinism, which means that when they end up saying that my religion is superior to yours, then we need to believe in universal religion of peace, love and harmony, and show solidarity to the world around. Next is infidelity, which means unfaithful, and fidelity, which is an opposite, that means faithfulness. I think we have seen the biggest cause of split in relationships today is infidelity, and people indeed are no longer having any kind of emotional association left. So that is why it is really sort of indispensable for them to show fidelity in their relationships and believe in having long-term associations with the world. Next is debilitate, which means to make something weaker or to bring it in the worst form. For instance, we have seen this virus debilitates human body and the person can feel quite emaciated even after recovering from this illness. So definitely they need to embark so much on multivitamins and immunity boosters to consolidate and to become strong, robust and agile. Next we have this didactic, which means teaching or instructions. For instance, it's very important on the part of every person to pick up certain didactic streams in the world where you can influence so many people to action, and I'm sure you will always become an idol, paragon or role model for your subordinates and for the people around. Next is placate, which means soothing or conciliate. For instance, a good music can definitely placate a stressed mind. So definitely take the initiative to become far more placate in your approach. Next is discursive, which means digress, which means to go off the track. For instance, we have seen many politicians when the press, the media ask certain questions, they obviously have very discursive approach and their answers are quite off the track as they like to dodge certain questions also. Next is indeed mendacious, which means habitually a person who speaks false or lies. I think we have seen most of the politicians in the country who are so mendacious. Would be better if the world is run by educationists, philanthropists, and young telecom tycoons who can indeed bring so much of hope, jobs, and improvisation in the world. Next is lucid, which means crystal clear. For instance, after attending the lecture, the concept was quite lucid, and now I can write thesis on this given concept. Next is oclude, which means to shut down. For instance, there is once again a buzz that India might be occluded and there will be another lockdown which might be imposed and which might halt. But then we have got another online world which indeed will make us to understand how we can have deep connectivity, and I'm sure we need to always become irresistible and truly we can go global with this. Next is deleterious, which means unexpectedly harmful. For instance, we have seen this COVID-19 has been one of the most deleterious viruses. It has been more than 1.5 years in a row, and we have seen the new mutations and the variants which are so deleterious, and it is 70% all the more lethal. So obviously, precaution is better than cure, as the proverb goes. An ounce of protection is better than obviously a pound of cure. All in all, a stitch in time saves nine, or prevention is better than cure. So I do emphasize so much on it. Last two. Next is envisage, which means to see something as a possibility for the future. So we can see, and we can always envisage that a year from now, we might be able to overcome this virus in totality, because obviously the pharmaceutical companies are working 24/7 to bring concrete antidote, and hopefully we might have vaccines which will proclaim 100% efficacy in months to come. Let's hope for the best. And the very last word I zero down to is laconic, which means brief to the point. I think in the modern world, we need to keep our speeches more laconic, because who has time to listen to so much? So that is why it's very important to have precision in your speech and make sure you always remain laconic, with which you can not just give the message, but transform the people around you as well. This brings us to the end of the vocabulary lecture. I wish you listen, practice to perfection, take notes, and make the best use of it. It is just not limited to your IELTS program, rather you can make best use of vocabulary tomorrow in every field of life, be it in your jobs or foreign study or any English examination which is scheduled and held at international level. I wish you lots of luck for the future. Have a great time. Thank you so much. Here we go.